Welcome to Insight Radio, powered by Vision Science Academy.
From London with Suchita Mitra.
Welcome to another episode of Insight Radio, where we envision future of vision science one voice at a time. I'm your host Suchita Mitra, Education Engagement Manager at VSA and Doctoral Researcher at Cardiff University. Today we have a very special guest. She is an entrepreneur and optometrist, a fellow of American Academy of Optometry, co-founder and CEO of Dr. Contact Lens, co-founder of TechifEYE, and she is passionate to advocate for healthcare technology and myopia management. Welcome, Dr. Brianna Rhue.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation as well, Dr. Brianna.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. So hit a big milestone in my own professional journey this week as I became the sole owner of my practice as I purchased out my partner, and excited that all that went through, and also happy to kind of share that journey if anybody's interested.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start with your journey in optometry. Could you share some key moments that led you to become an optometrist, and what drives your passion, most importantly, what drives your passion for patient care and optometry as a whole?
Yeah, I like to think that I've actually been an optometrist since I was in second grade, as that's actually when I received my first pair of glasses, and was fortunate that my mom really advocated for me to wear contact lenses at a young age in third grade because I was that myope. I was a dancer, I was a gymnast, my glasses were always breaking, and she knew that there was something else out there. And so really it's helping parents understand they need to advocate for their patients as well, and then for patients to advocate for what they need. And that just kind of led me into becoming a technician, becoming a scribe, had amazing mentors growing up within the optometric profession, and really saw optometry as both this side of being able to take care of patients, as well as the business side of optometry, which I've become really, really passionate about. So I can continue to help patients see their best and help my colleagues really understand what they get to take care of every day as well.
Amazing. It has been an amazing journey for you. And it's fascinating to see your passion for healthcare technology, myopia management, and especially contact lens. So can you tell our listeners what first inspired you to start public speaking and how it contributed to your professional growth?
Yeah, there was a gentleman that came by the name of Dr. Scott Morris, my third year of optometry school, and he was just super engaging, super vibrant. And I was like, all right, well, I can see myself doing that. And I really didn't have anything at that moment in time when I graduated. And of course, you have to pay your dues and understand what you're doing and get out there through writings and publications and, just becoming that voice. And I found myopia management, and I went to a conference and I came back and I actually wrote a lecture. I'd gone to Vision by Design, came back that Monday, built my program, wrote a lecture, went and gave it to my, where I did my residency at Bascom Palmer, knowing that I needed to kind of start there, and really advocated to get in there to start educating, and got really comfortable with it. Because of the passion, I think you have to have that in order to speak on something. I just wasn't really finding it anywhere else. And then that's really kind of what has led into Dr. Contact Lens as well. And so it's not about really that success theater. I think that a lot of speakers get into definitions of success theater, right? Where you're up there, they see you as something different. I never want to be that speaker that kind of puts yourself on that pedestal, where I really do want to share that it can be done, and ways that it can be done or how it can be done when you go back to practice. I think that's one thing that we miss a lot with our staff is they want to know where you were over the weekend. They want to know what you were educated on and how you can go back and share that with them for the benefit of your patients, because they're also, side by side taking care of patients with you, but also for their advancement. And so it's more about that community that I can create and what I want to create when I'm giving speaking engagements.
And certainly, effective communication is crucial for connecting with an audience as well. So as you are a public speaker, speaking in front of audience can be intimidating for some time. So how do you prepare your speeches and everything so that your listeners don't leave and it has a lasting impact?
Planning for a talk, I enjoy that. I actually love the stage. Again, growing up as a dancer, I kind of got over my fear of speaking in front of people because I auditioned in like 7th grade for a show choir song and I got it. So like in middle school, when it's your worst years it was kind of the worst years of my life. But getting up on stage and singing in front of like 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, you gotta be pretty not shy. And so my parents really instilled that in me. I think it's something that you're born with, but you can curate it over time on just getting comfortable. So have been one to actually get on stage in presentations and throw down a rap or throw down a song here and there, just to keep it engaging. I've always loved looking at outside industry on how speakers engage and what they're talking about, how their slides are, what questions are they asking. So it is about a show. I mean, when you are a speaker, you're giving a show, right? And the more engaging you are, the more they're going to take away from it and the more value that you get from all the hard energy that it is to put together a presentation. So it is something I love to do. It's a lot of work preparing, but it's exciting once to see it all kind of come together and for people to come up and, say that they really gained something from it. That's why I do it.
Certainly. So if you asked to give a certain advice which is more, I would say, which will add value to public speaking skills of someone, what that advice would be?
It's really about your story. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it's about the promises that you make in the beginning to your audience on what they're really going to be there and really setting expectations up in the beginning and then delivering on those expectations as you go through. We know that obviously like Steve Jobs was an amazing public speaker. It's about keeping your slides engaging, not so busy, not so much information, not so much data, but understanding really your audience that's going to be there and giving them some little tips and tricks throughout the way on what you do and how you manage it to then go back and take that into real life. So it's not just, spit firing all of these statistics or things like that. People aren't going to remember that, but they may remember a story that you said, or how to better talk to a patient through something that is difficult to have the conversation, whether it be through money or purchases or how to explain myopia management, and then how to take that back into practice.
Yeah, but in your opinion, how important it is to have an optometrist to have a public speaking skill? How important it is for an optometrist?
I mean, there's so many different ways you can take optometry, right? If you want to speak, that's, I think, part of your DNA. And most people fear public speaking more than they do something else. So it's just, where do you fall in that category? I don't think everybody can be a public speaker or wants to be a public speaker for that matter. So it's just about curating and getting comfortable with your content and really bringing through that passion. So finding your niche, finding your passion, and then being able to share that from the stage is exciting for me.
Amazing. So, let's talk about your remarkable achievement. You are a founder and CEO of Dr. Contact Lens and TechifEYE. So, can you share some insights in your entrepreneur journey and how they contribute to optometry community?
Yeah, the entrepreneur journey. That's something we could spend a lot of time on. It definitely is not for the faint of heart. So why Dr. Contact Lens was born was really out of a need, out of my own practice and my co-founder Jennifer Tabiza's practice, where we do all the work, we see all the patients, and then they would just sit there and ask us point blank for copies of their prescriptions to go elsewhere. So we're taking care of the patient, we're doing all of the work, we're getting it to the 1 yard line, and then we just dropped the ball. We weren't making it easy, we weren't making it convenient, we weren't making it efficient for the patients to order their contacts from us. And 9 times out of 10, it's not about the price. It's about convenience and being there for the patient. And so that's what Dr. Contact Lens did, is we tried to close that care loop, right? You're seeing the patient, you do an amazing job on the health part of the eye exam, you get them their contact lenses, they love them, and then where do they purchase them? And so we are able to send a text message, email, and reminders to patients and digitize everything, right? I think it's really important that we look on how we can become more efficient in our practices through what the staff is doing at every point of the exam and making it easy and convenient for patients to do business with us, because that's what keeps us taking care of them, is taking care of our business so we can invest back in patients. So that's kind of the work we do at Dr. Contact Lens.
So, how Dr. Contact Lens work is that they have to have their eye examinations done, then they can order Dr. Contact Lens, or they can have examination at anywhere else and can order it right away?
Yeah, we work through the doctor's offices. And so again, it's about giving back to the community, where they'll see the doctor has to subscribe to Dr. Contact Lens. So it's a software as a service platform. We help them integrate it. We help them give them a process within their team on how they're going to better enable their patients to order from them. And then the patient, once they see the doctor, they get a link via text and email. It's a secure link. They're able to log in. They can download and print a copy of their prescription. So it's about becoming patient-centric, where it's your record as a patient. You own that as a patient, and it's up to you where you want to do business. And then in that instance, their vision plan loads, their rebates load, the patient can order in one click, and then the doctor is paid from that sale on the back end. And so then they're able to take that money, reinvest it back into the practice, and really that feedback loop of business, where you as the business owner take care of the staff takes care of the patients, and then the patients take care of the business. And I think that's where we're kind of missing a lot of this model, is throwing in a technology piece to this, where the practice owner invests in technology, whether that's EMRs or Dr. Contact Lens or something else, to better help the staff be face-to-face and have those conversations and those connection points that we're all thriving for or missing. And then that enables the patient to do business, and then the patient takes better care of the business. So it's really injecting all of that together in one piece.
So currently Dr. Contact Lens is based in USA, or you are planning to move abroad as well?
So we're working on a couple pieces of code that would allow us to move abroad. So as of now, yes, it's just in the US. We're figuring out, different strategies and things like that that would enable us to take it global.
Amazing. So, Dr. Rhue, many optometrists have great ideas, but maybe they are hesitant to take a step ahead in the field of entrepreneurship. So what advice would you give to those people who are really curious to start their own business, who are considering to start their own ventures in optometry? And how come somebody overcome those challenges which you might have faced as well?
Yeah, it's about definitely a support team. And if you have a pain and really see a need for it, solve it for yourself first, and then figure out how you can monetize it. Because I feel that's when a lot of things go wrong within entrepreneurs. You have to figure out timing is a big piece to this, right? So had we tried to launch this 10 years ago, it wouldn't have worked. And so timing was really, really of the essence. And with where technology is headed, we were kind of right on the brink of that. So timing is a big thing, determination, perseverance. You have to stick with it. Nothing comes easy, and you have to ride the highs, ride the lows. I mean, there'll be one moment where I'll get an email that's really, really exciting of something good that's happening. And then literally like 2 seconds later, it's like a deal you've been working on for 3 years falls apart. So it's about really having that support system within entrepreneurship, because it can get really, really lonely and it can get really, really dark. And it's those moments that you really persevere and come through to get your company to the next work. And it's just about doing the work. There's no secret sauce to entrepreneurs. It's about making the phone calls. It's about making the connections. It's about picking up the phone and putting yourself out there in sales and marketing and a team and customer support and all of those things on what success is. So a lot of it's do the work. You have to do the work. And if you're not willing to, then that's where you'll see a lot of failures come from.
Certainly. But when we talk about taking the first step and go out there to work for yourself, what was that first thing that came into your mind and you started doing that?
Mine, I grew up, my dad was a small business owner, so I knew what small business ownership was. I mean, I hate the word small business because it's just corporations kind of putting small business into their place. But he owned a business, and I saw kind of what leverage that gave him and what kind of freedom that gave him. And so I've never been one to work for others. I'm a big believer that you can wake up every day and build your own dreams, or you can wake up every day and build somebody else's. And it's what you get to choose to do on any given day and what not to do on any given day. And so it's about, furthering your mindset. It's about, picking up books and getting knowledge, and just really taking the first step. I've been known to push people off the cliff quite a few times to just make the move. And I've probably done it to like 5 or 6 people and it's all come out good. But you'll build your airplane on the way down, and you'll fly. So as long as you believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing and there's a passion behind it, then who's going to stop you?
Yes, definitely. And people are lucky to have a friend like you so that somebody can push them out of the cliff. And that's what we need, because there is a fear of failure. Always it is there. So a fear of failure can be a significant obstacle for some people. How do you approach failure, and what have you learned from your past?
I've made like every expensive mistake in building Dr. Contact Lens, and it's just about living the next day in those moments. If you truly believe in what you're doing and you've got a good support team behind you, then you'll overcome a lot of those obstacles. As humans, we're just so negatively based, right? And thinking of the worst scenario that could happen and that scare factor. I don't really live in that scare factor. I was at a meeting not long ago, and we had the opportunity to go paragliding. And my dad was like, well, there you go, jumping off a perfectly good cliff again, right? And so of course I have fears. And of course I have those moments. But fear and excitement are the same chemical release in your brain. It's what you associate it with. And I think most people are so negatively inclined. I mean, I have a staff member. All she lives in is the negative, right? So it's just about seeing the positive and seeing a step further. Like the word no to me doesn't really register. Just like, well, just not right now. And we just keep moving step by step by step, baby steps some days. Some days we're just moving backwards, right? To kind of pick up what we left off. And you just keep going. And it's not about putting yourself in a box or a category or something like that. It just comes down to purely showing up and doing the work.
So if we talk about support system, which you are talking about, that you had a great support system in your life. So what are those support system we are talking about? Are we talking about our employees or our friends or families? What are those for you?
It's a little bit outside of the norms for me. Family is obviously huge, right? You've got to, whether it's your husband, a spouse, sister, brothers, moms, dads, whatever you have. But a lot of the times in entrepreneurship, you can't put a lot on them because they don't a lot of the times get what you're doing or what your day was like that day. And especially if it was a bad day, right? You can't put that on somebody else. And so you need to figure out your releases. So is it running? Is it yoga? Is it meditating? Is it writing in a journal? Kind of those internal support systems that you need. And then other people that are in it. So other entrepreneurs that are really doing the work, and who can you bounce ideas off of, where there's a trusted environment there. That's what I've been able to curate. Because a lot of this you can't put on your friends because they think that, well, why are you putting yourself through all this? They won't get it. And so you got to find the people that do get it. And that does take some time. It does take a system. And even when it comes to employees, you can't tell them that you're like $2 away from going out of business, right? You have to like figure out again what the next day is to live. And whether that's an internal system that you're dealing with, you have to be able to release that. Playing tennis. I mean, like this morning, I got to play tennis, right? And that was my big release. So what is that support system? And how do you blow off your own steam?
Yes. So what I think is, to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to have those skills of collaborating with others and how to be in network of others as well. So how do you build and maintain a meaningful relationship within your industry and support your venture?
Yeah, I'm like to think of myself as just somebody that pays it forward. And I'm a big giver in my time, in my energy, in connections, not knowing if it will ever come back to me. That's really not why I'm on this planet. So really I think that's one of my unique gifts, is just really kind of being a connector. And seeing what others will flourish. I think this world is very, very abundant. We have so much to give all the time. And we're now in this like take environment a lot, which gets exhausting also. So really that piece of just make that extra phone call or make that connection just to make it. Not that it'll ever come back to you, or who knows what it'll come from. So just that selfishness that it takes to get over those little humps in what you're doing.
Yes, but I would like to know a secret of yours. That is, if we are asking for collaboration, or if we talk about we want some funding from a company, how do you approach them? And approach as in like they will give you what you want. How will you do that?
I mean, it's just about being upfront. It's about really understanding early on in the relationship what it is. And I've been in many of those conversations where I've been knocked down because I was a woman, because I was a tech person that happens to be a woman. I don't really like to use any of those as excuses, but it's the connection that you get to make with other people and fully listening, being fully present. I think a lot of us are not doing that. I was on a call yesterday with Chris Schoenberg, and he's like, I asked him that. I said, what are we missing within connections? He's like, really, you're going to ask me that? We have like 3 minutes left on our call. It's about, we have to get back to connections and why we're there. And not every connection is going to lead somewhere, and that's okay. And it doesn't need to. But just keep planting seed after seed after seed. And also, I think the level of respect that you have to have for yourself and the value that you hold for yourself, I think a lot of people put up blocks and barriers surrounding that, that you have to overcome. So there's a lot of work internally that you have to do of like childhood things that you went through that programmed you the way that you are, that you have to undo in order to become that kind of, or determining what success means to you, right? Success to you could mean something totally different than what success means to me. And honoring that as you have these conversations within collaboration.
I think there are many people who want to be successful in their life. They might have take a step ahead as well, so that they can build their own business. But somehow there are some people who lack those skills and they take a step back or move back to their 9 to 5 journey. So can you give some advice or maybe a nudge? How can they take out a step ahead again?
I think, again, it comes to the word value. There's 2 books, one called Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. And there's one, she talks about money blocks and like internal things that you're holding on to. I know it's like a female book, but it's actually not. It could be listened to by anyone. The other one is called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, where he really helps you assign a value to something. And goes through certain exercises. So like if you're paying yourself, or you're saying you should be making $100 an hour and you're doing a task that is a $15 an hour job, you're actually costing yourself $85 in that moment and costing your company that. And so it's just about, it comes to value. And are you valuing yourself in that 9 to 5 job? If not, then where's your value going to come from? I don't think everybody's, again, cut out to run a company or cut out to not do the 9 to 5. But then you got to internally reach inside of yourself and figure out what it truly is that you want out of your life. I'm a person, like there's another book called Business Outside, where it helps you really internalize and look at your value statement and what that is. Something that your values are could be completely different than what mine are. And you have to honor that in people when you're speaking to them. My values are, personal freedom, risk, and, joy. So those could be totally different than what yours are, Sucheta. And it's honoring that in yourself and not wavering on that. So I did this exercise with my husband, and his values were very, very different from mine, which is good, right? And I'm able to honor his values and honor what I get to do because of his values, right? He's not a risk taker. He likes security, things like that. And him having those enables me to do the things that I want to do too, where it could be a point of contention in our relationship, and I haven't made it that way. So just little things like that. And, if you read a book, to pass it along and at least get one message from it and start living it. Because I think a lot of people will try to implement things and then it gets hard and you quit, right? So it's all about implementation.
Yeah, certainly. And success stories like yours can inspire others to pursue entrepreneur journey as well.
I hope so.
So, Dr. Brianna, you wear multiple hats and you juggle between multiple responsibilities. So, how do you manage your time and how do you organize those things?
Yeah, so as a wife and a mother first, of a 7-year-old and an 18-month-old, and then also a husband, I think that those relationships are really important. Those tend to go by the wayside too, some of the times. So it's just about being present in everything that you're doing, specifically what you're doing on that task, because you can really kind of get into something else and then get swung into something else. So it's really about time management. I've been fortunate enough to, again, growing up, having cheerleading, dance, gymnastics. I had tennis kind of thrown in there. Schoolwork was, obviously the most important thing that enabled me to do the other things. So I've had that growing up, that sense of organization. A lot of people don't have good time management. So I'm doing the work that somebody would take 5 people to do. I'm able to do that. So really, between patient care, between running my practice and the day-to-day on Dr. Contact Lens, it comes to accountability and other partners and other people, and letting them do what they love to do. If I don't like billing, I need to find somebody that loves billing, and that's their area of genius. And that's how you build a team surrounding you. So what is it that you can offset in your life? I shouldn't be wasting my time cleaning my house, for instance, right? What does that look like for me to have an hour with my family or an hour with my kids where I'm not doing those tasks, where somebody has a company that supports XYZ to do that? So it's about what can you outsource?
So if we talk about organizational skills or time management, can you give out advice to our listeners so that they can organize those skills? Because as far as I know, many people don't have these skills with them, and many people want to do it. There are certain apps out there as well so that they can manage their time. But do you want to give out advice to them so that they can manage their time and organize those skills according to priority?
Yeah, I mean, I know it takes me X amount of time to dry my hair, right? And I can work myself backwards in my day on little things like that. I know that if I want to stop and get a coffee in the morning, what that's going to add. And then I work back on when I need to leave the house or when I need to start getting ready. I know how much I'm going to assign in between meetings to answering emails or booking travel or those little things. So really there's so many books out there about time management. Buy Back Your Time, highly recommend it, where it allows you to really do a time audit. That's kind of where it starts. And then assigning dollar signs to what that task is. Like if you look at what Oprah does in her day, right? Do you want to build an empire? Do you want to build a better life? Again, it all comes back to what your values are and what your definition of success is. And then you go from there.
Yeah, certainly. So, let me ask you a personal question. If I ask a day in your life, maybe a Monday, what would it look like? Starting from the morning to the evening.
Yeah, so my alarm goes off at about 7. I hit the snooze one time, just to kind of like take a couple of deep breaths in, kind of get myself ready for the day. I put my feet on the floor. I'll give my husband a kiss in the morning, and then I will drink. I have a cup of water next to my bed. I will drink that whole cup of water, so I'm starting kind of off my day on the right thing. If my 7 years old is not up already, I'll go get ready, and then I'll go and cuddle with him for a few minutes, get the baby up and ready, bring them down. We'll get breakfast kind of served, and then get them off to school. So I'll drop him off at camp or drop him off at school. Our nanny comes to help us with the baby. My husband obviously gets all of his stuff done and he's out the door. And whether I'm going to Dr. Contact Lens or yoga in the morning or playing tennis in the morning, so I'll try to get some exercise in the morning around what I'm going to do. And then I'll get to my office and just kind of look at my calendar and see what I'm going to do that day and get myself hyped up, and then kind of jump right back in, and I'll pack it all up at about 5 o'clock. Kind of, you should see all the windows that I have open right now. I'll kind of close out all of my windows if I can and go home. We'll have dinner. Typically we're going out for dinner because my husband is a vegetarian and I am not. And so we don't like to make a lot of meals. Then we'll maybe go to the pool. We'll do something with the kiddos. We'll do bedtime. They'll get in bed. I will, if I need to finish up a presentation or something like that, which isn't often, I'll try to get that worked into the day so I can just be there with my hubby. We'll watch a show and go to bed around 10:30, 11, and that's kind of what it looks like.
Oh, amazing. It is really impressive. How do you manage a successful career and you are enjoying your family time as well?
Yeah.
So, you maintain a healthy work-life balance, but do you like to share some advice to other professionals who should maintain their work-life balance as well? Because people might juggle between these two things and they fail in that.
I don't think work-life balance really exists, especially as a working mom and a wife. I struggle with that myself, because I think it's just about being present. If you're answering emails and you're thinking about a phone call that you have to do in 5 minutes, you're actually not present in doing emails. If you're with your kids and thinking about an upcoming call or somebody interrupts you, I think it's about distractions. Put your phone down, put it out of sight, do something, lock it up. You'll see really quickly how much time whether you're scrolling or getting lost, and how much time we're wasting that wasn't appropriate. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have downtime or be able to do that, but schedule it and see your kind of life flourish. Everyone's like, when did you build this business? Well, Jen and I built it. She's on the West Coast. We're a 3-hour time difference, which is very significant. And to build Dr. Contact Lens the way that we've done, we built it from my time, we built it from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And for her, that was from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So it was after our work days were done. And I was just at obviously a different time in my life. I had a young kid, so he was in bed by 7:30, where I could then pay attention to this. So I think it's about being present. Like, this is my job that I get to do right now. And it's using the word get instead of have to. I think changing little verbs throughout the day can make a positive into a negative or a negative into a positive. So I get to be on this call with you right now, right? Versus, I have to pay a bill right now or something like that. No, you have the opportunity. You get to do that right now. And just change little things. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, certainly. So, this has been an insightful conversation with you. But if I ask you, what are your aspirations in the future of optometry, or in the future of your own business, Dr. Contact Lens or TechifEYE? So how do you envision those things moving ahead?
Yeah, I now have gotten the glimpse behind the curtain of this bigger thing, right? We all have our private practices and this reach. I mean, all of our reaches now through connections like this can actually go pretty global. It's just on how big you want to get it. My aspirations are to get my passions out there for doctors to understand that we're really the pawn in the entire system. And someone is going to take advantage of you, and you shouldn't let them. But that comes with an investment in yourself through more knowledge, through more education, through more understanding of the business side, where you can then really take care of patients. Myopia management, I mean, we're just on the starts of this, and what we get to do for generation after generation behind us. Having a 7-year-old, I'm not going to be the doctor in 30 years taking care of him. And I hope he's not myopic. Being a -5.5, my husband's a -6.5, chances are he's probably going to be myopic. But I don't want him to have that doctor, right, in 30 years, be having a different conversation with him. I need to do my work now, so I change that trajectory later on. So that's really my passion there, is just sharing that through platforms like this, and just living your best life. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. I swear this week has felt like it has been 4 years of my life. Trying to get the deal over the edge and some other family issues that have come up. But here I am on, this exciting time to wrap up a Friday on your birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, amazing. So, if we talk about TechifEYE, what it is really, what it do?
Yeah, so what TechifEYE is, it's really, we like to kind of call it like a therapy group for startup companies. So how TechifEYE was founded is Jen and I, being optometrists, we were going to all these shows and doing all these demos to the same doctors, and me being in charge of business development, I said, there has to be a better way, right? We're all going after the same customer. How can we join forces to really get the same message as a unified message together? So that's really where a lot of these companies have come together. It's more of like an event planning thing, to help doctors engage with new technology and really help them envision how they implement things within their practice to, again, better take care of their patients. So we're kind of on the early stages still of that. We've done a couple of events very successfully on just getting, as a small company, you don't have a lot of marketing dollars to go, and to put that all together and be there for one another in the goods and the bads of adding customers or losing a customer, or how do we be this conglomerate together to get more of that messaging out. That's what TechifEYE has done.
Amazing. And I am amazed to see you are such a ball of energy, and you are so excited about your venture. I just really loved it.
Thank you. They do call me the Energizer Bunny. I've been known to call that quite a few times. I don't really know any other way.
I am so amazed to meet you, and thank you so much for this invitation as well. I got to meet you and really inspired by you.
Thank you, and right back at you.
So that brings us to the end of this captivating episode of Insight Radio. Dr. Rhue, would you like to share anything with our audience before wrapping this up?
If you believe it, then anything is possible.
Yes, you need to believe in yourself and in your values as well. Dr. Rhue, thank you so much for sharing your expertise, passion, and insights with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It has been an enlightening and inspiring conversation with you.
Thanks.
To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to Insight Radio for more engaging conversation with experts from various fields. Until next time, take care and stay curious. Thank you for watching. If you found this episode valuable, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Never miss an episode.
Insight Radio. One vision, many voices.